I am Mark Stewart Greenstein, and you have a way to stand up. It is to vote independent. I am the independent candidate, and you're not voting for me so much as you're voting for independence. You're really voting for you, and to show that you and hopefully much of Farmington can be independent of others, other state mandates, sometimes federal guidelines that just aren't appropriate here, big corporate policies that we should be able to stand up against. And unfortunately, our two big parties don't do that. Now, there's not such big party rivalry here in Farmington. Thank goodness, still, we all get along. But it may be coming because in D.C. and to some extent in the Hartford legislature, the acrimony among Democrat and Republican leaders, okay, I'm not blaming rank and file voters, but the leaders have, taken us to the far edges so that we are becoming uncivil. Literally, discourse gets punctuated by your average progressive leader with the policy is wrong and you're a racist. The policy is wrong and you're intolerant. When you add things that none of us want to be called, intolerant, racist is evil, but they use that as it's a bludgeon. They also end up lying to others because they know better, but the political orthodoxy of each side can't answer directly, okay? Ask some of Brian Connolly's Democrat colleagues. Do you believe that there are more than two known sexes? I don't know what Brian will say, but some of his colleagues, they squirm. Well, it depends, this is a hard question. No, it's not. And even to you, I don't think it's a hard question. You took 9th grade biology and no science has changed it, but your politics have. And you end up, therefore, lying to kids, lying to some, not many, dupes who believe it, but end up being so incredible, meaning not believable, that why should we vote for you? Why do we expect you, who might believe there are 13 different sexes, to also manage policy? Or if you don't believe it, why aren't you saying it? Why can't you be straightforward? Republicans don't do too much better. If you ask some of Peter and Joe's leading Republican, maybe they're colleagues, maybe they're far off, but you say, do you like Trump? They can't answer, okay? It depends on the time. Hold a finger to the wind to see where things are right now. And they certainly have opinions, okay? You can't possibly have lived the last 5 years in America without some opinion about Donald John Trump. But they can't say it either. Once again, because of the badness of political party affiliation. Yes, parties protect. I think they protect the worst political servants, ones who actually could be better without a party. Look at the attention that Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are getting now, rightfully so, because they're willing to be reasonable and vote one way or the other. We should have 100 reasonable senators, not 2. And when you vote for the cluster, you get unreasonableness on one or both sides. Look, the epitome of the true politician, modern politician, and it's not a good word, one who makes positions, makes statements, might even make legislation based on, well, finger to the wind, what are sentiments like, how will I look? It was Hillary Clinton. And she is still revered by most of the Democrat Party. Okay, the far left, no, they've gone beyond, and they go to the AOC, Nancy Pelosi. Hillary, she could be the next governor of New York. So why? Because Hillary is expert at what Democrat leaders want to be at, measuring. Most modern politicians in big parties, I'm not including libertarians and Greens, but in the big two parties, before they answer you get a calculation. What will this do? What will what I say do? And then they answer. Voting independent makes sense now, and especially makes sense here in Farmington. Farmington runs quite well. We should be able to stand up for principles that keep it running very well. Voting here, one vote. You have two, but consider using only one so that it's not diluted and it becomes an actual statement that this is a better way for Farmington to go forward. It's not excoriating Peter, Brian, Joe. PB&J will probably be back. In fact, if I am elected, this is actually a pledge. If I'm elected, I'm running as an independent against PB&J. If in 2023, I'm the sitting councilman in District 1, and all three of them seek to gain re-election to the council, and all three divorce themselves from major parties, I will resign. Okay? Mission accomplished of getting even prominent people to stay away from the political party system that is really hurting us. I put this in writing. Okay? Literally, if you're listening, frankly, every voter is able to enforce this. It's a contract. It reads, I, Mark Stewart Greenstein, if elected to the Farmington Town Council in 2021, upon seeing Peter, Brian, and Joe all running again in 2023, without committing to a major party, I will withdraw my bid for re-election. This is a binding contract. This may be enforced by Peter, Brian, Joe, or any voter who's relying in part on this pledge to support me in 2021. I'm Mark Stewart Greenstein. It is stewartforliberty.com. Thanks for your attention here.